Amazing being here again. Absolutely fascinating. And it was really hard journey to arrive here because it felt as if there was some sort of literally magnetic force keeping me in bed for like 6 hours. I couldn't get up.
When? This morning?
Yesterday.
Oh, yesterday.
Yesterday. And I was supposed to be starting making my way, and I was literally feeling like unable to move.
It's regular when you go to holy places, intending to have a spiritual conversation. Evil spirits don't like that, and they are obstructing it.
How come we don't learn about evil spirits and people even ridiculing the existence of that in first place? Why is that?
This is the main enterprise of Satan. To persuade a man that there is no God and there is no Satan, just material world. It's nonsense. Stop it. God, demons, fairy tales. But unfortunately, or fortunately, it's real, and maybe even more real than this material world. Existence of God and his opponent.
Is it the right way to fight that by making holy images of like some individuals that we, or at least I thought, never really existed, but people invented for the purpose of making...
For priests to make some money.
Essentially control over people,
something like
stuff
that.
like that.
That's right. Well, among other spiritual feats, the iconography is one of the means to get closer to the Creator of the universe, to the Lord, and to His saints, because His saints were regular people like you and me, full of dilemmas, problems, fears, questions, and quests. They realized that there is a supreme being, actually person that you can get in contact with. And then they managed to acquire special conditions for that kind of life, which is more or less going out of civilization. Because this tumult of everyday life, especially in big cities, is very hard and a great obstacle to get in peace, and from that peace to get in contact with the Creator. So those people, in far past or closer past or recent past, they managed to go away to deserts, to monasteries, caves, to little huts, under the supervision of more experienced Christians, elders, as we say.
Yep.
And they entered this way of life, the spiritual way of life, spiritual combat against evil spirits and our own passions and bad habits.
How come we seem to be thinking that passion is a way to describe or live the love? You know, if there's no more passion between the couple, it seems like the love has changed or turned into an interest. In other words, if I haven't got use from you, there's no more love, there's no more passion. What kind of has happened there?
Passion, for example, in Old Slavonic, in Old Slavic language, in ancient Slavic language that we all Slavs used to speak one language. Passion, the word for that is strast.
Strast.
Strast, when you say today in common language, he's very strastan, is his strast, that has a positive connotation. Like he's very passionate in something.
As if it's something good that we should encourage.
Yeah, that's right. But strast, I'm not sure exactly. Yeah, it's the same thing. Actually, passion, I think, comes from ancient Greek, from pathos. And it means suffering. Yes, suffering. So when you come from the source of this word, you see what does it actually mean. When you're passionate to something, you're a slave of it.
Yep.
And you do not have freedom anymore. So today, if you're offered with something, do this, take this, eat this, smell this, snort this, smoke this, go there, drink that. And today's person, he thinks that, or she, that he's a free person if he takes everything.
Yep.
And when somebody is restraining of something, they would say to him, "Oh, you're not free. You're afraid of something, or you are forced not to take something." But it's completely opposite. I'm free, and when I'm able to say, "Yes, I will take this," and "No, I will not take this," then I'm free. And if I always say, "Yeah, take it, everything," you're not free, man. You're passionate. You're a slave. You're a slave to those things. You cannot say no. And very often, unfortunately, after consuming, we say, "Oh, what happened to me? I should have never done this," or something like this. So it is in spiritual realm, many things of this material world are completely opposite and absurd, for example. So people who managed through a gigantic fight against their bad habits, passions, and demons, they managed to acquire the gift of the Holy Spirit. And they became immortal in a way, in a spiritual way. And they managed to sometimes even to glow in special uncreated light. And that's why we paint those nimbuses around their head, symbolizing that light that was emanating from their heads, basically. And they could manage also to levitate. It's absolutely normal, because when you acquire the gift of the Holy Spirit, you are conquering the physical laws. And this was not, they were not fakirs. This was not the main goal. It was just the
some sort of vehicle, a tool.
Some sort of that happened. But the main important thing that they acquired is love. Love towards fellow men.
Offering, giving rather than taking.
Yes. And they were able to heal just with the touch of their palm, to heal cancer, madness, whatever, epilepsy, or how do you say in English? So it is very important for us to enter the spiritual combat and fight our old man, sinful man, in order to kill him and to give birth to new man, to transform
the soul, to not like physically
of course
kill,
not.
but actually kill the bad habit.
Yeah, symbolically, we in Orthodox monasticism, for example, my civilian name was Alexander.
Okay.
So in monastic tonsure, I'm stopping to be Alexander, and I'm becoming Arsenia. Symbolically, the Alexander is dead; he died, and Arsenia is new person, like like this small, how do you call gusenica in English? Caterpillar or something.
Caterpillar transforming into a
Into a
butterfly.
butterfly. So that's what we are trying to give birth to new man. The old man is always lifting up his head and messing up.
Mm.
But we are trying to push him down and to give place to new man, transform man in a Holy Spirit. Good man, man full of compassion, love towards fellow man. And the love is something that which is missing the most in today's society.
Mm.
Just some people are telling to me, especially those who love sex, either heterosexual or homosexual, and they're saying love,
Like
love.
the actual intercourse.
Yes, but actually they're changing the meaning. Actually, it's very similar word in English. It's lust.
Lust.
It's completely different.
Mm.
They're
Love for lust.
yes,
The love actually turns into lust.
because I can love without sexual intercourse.
Without necessarily physical touch. But then they say, man, God, don't give me that. Like
Yeah.
she's like, or he's like, ooh, and
Yeah.
this and that. But that leads into the lust, really.
It is. It does. So our main goal is to transform ourselves, to receive the gift of the Holy Spirit, and to be normal, nothing spectacular, just normal person who loves, whose action which is underneath is love, and then everything would be normal, everything would be perfect. The paradise would be on earth, which is utopia, of course. But among a small number of people in family, in monasteries, in little societies,
Communities. Kind of.
communities, we can do it. We can do it. And we should never give up of walking after God and asking Him for help.
How about people who change their names? Like you said, your name was Alexander, but
Mhm.
then you now change your name for Arseniy.
Yes.
Like, could it be, for example, let's say my name is Victor.
Mm-hmm.
For example, let's just say as if it was Victor.
Yeah.
And then, like, I found out there was a guy back in the Roman days, Holy Victor with a saint, or even Saint Victor with a holy corona. And they were, fighting for Christianity.
Mm-hmm.
Like, can I become a monk and keep my name Victor, for example, like that guy over there? Or do I have to change my
It's
name?
not usual. It's not usual. Basically, we are trying to change our names, just as I said, symbolically to be a new man.
Mhm.
It can happen to keep the same name after some holy person.
Mm.
It could be, but I think it's good to change it.
Okay.
It's good. It helps
Giving
you to
up kind
really
of
to give
the
up.
vanity and the sort of my ego, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. And basically, we are not. You are not the one who decides, who makes decision.
Or
Your abbot or your bishop actually gives you the new name.
what about if I talk to him over a glass of wine?
It's possible. It's
Yeah.
possible.
Or maybe something else.
It's possible.
And can I come back to the subject of images?
Mm-hmm.
And like so many things so many images are printed with all sorts of symbols, with lots of ugly faces, blood, and all sorts of stuff. Like there's an idea to make like a black t-shirt and to continue your inspiration, which is worldwide, having had the experience of taking serious drugs, which I have not had the experience. And you're like a living legend that, wow, it's actually possible to survive that, to overcome that. So it's like, there's like a t-shirt and then your face there. And then would that help for this? Would that take the evil spirits away, or would they at least feel a little bit like, oh, we don't want to see that? And would that act like some sort of protection?
You think literally, my face?
Literally, because you are a symbol of somebody who has been a slave of drugs, who was a dependent, an addict of things that I personally thought are never possible to overcome. To get clean from heroin, to get clean from cocaine.
Well, I was never on heroin.
But you
I
consumed it, no?
Just a couple of times.
Just on
in
few
my life. But
occasions.
I was a sheer smoker,
Yeah.
and as time was going by, I was taking more and more cocaine, but never too much. Sometimes I'm talking about myself as a heavy addict, but it was never really. I was never too much on cocaine, on heroin. No, I sniffed maybe 4 times heroin in my life, and I was always vomiting. I mean, everything from myself. Physically. Throwing up, yes. But cocaine, yes, but it happened in New York when I went to New York, and it was 2 last years of my life in New York. So in those 2 years, I haven't managed to get hooked on it very much. Once in 10 days I would sniff, once in a month, but I was heavy smoker of those very, very hard and psychedelic marijuanas from Jamaica. And those stories that marijuana is a light drug that's nonsense.
Really, it's just designed to hook you on it.
Of course, I mean it's just great, как се каже превара, great treachery,
fraud essentially.
Fraud, yeah, that's right. It influences in a very bad manner our brain. It really disturbs it a lot, and you can from marijuana you can go into deep psychosis and to finish in psychiatric clinic.
Can you get paranoid?
Yeah, definitely. Paranoia is very close to THC, to this cannabidiol or whatever it is.
Can you get paranoid without smoking it?
Well, yes, of course. I mean, if you have, for example, relatives who are paranoid genetically, or this is, it can be a spell from your predecessors.
That spell really exists? Is that not just a fairy tale
No,
thing?
it does exist. It happens like in past. My как се каже predecessors or
Predecessors.
well, or my far relatives.
Yeah.
That I do not remember them.
Okay.
2 or 3 generations before me.
Yeah.
Somebody would do some sin, some evil thing. Zločin, как се каже,
A crime.
a crime, whatever.
Yeah.
But crime against humanity, against another being, not just to steal money, but that's also something that attracts bad energy.
Bad energy, yeah.
But especially if somebody was very evil towards another fellow man, then the protection of the Holy Spirit, which is on every person on this earth, withdraws, and simultaneously,
Yep.
satanic energy
Just one guy's go.
yeah,
the other
this one comes like when you have a dimmer.
Yeah.
You know, when you dim light, then the smoke, then the darkness comes. So when the Holy Spirit withdraws, the dark powers are coming on his place, and they acquire власть, как се власть каже, power or possession,
control, possession.
And this family, that tribe, that blood becomes enslaved.
Is it cursed almost? Like
Cursed.
Enslaved, yeah.
And then it goes from generation to generation, especially hits on children.
Oh.
And not on everyone. For example, we can see there is a family with 3, 4, 5 children.
Yeah.
Not every child gets a hit,
Oh.
but those who are emotional, who are more subtle, who are more can get wounded easily in spiritual and emotional way, and they become victims. So it comes from generation to generation. So the Jesus, as a Son of God, he came to this earth to save us from this chain of curse.
Okay.
Otherwise, we would be under the stars, under the fatum, under the destiny, and there would not be exit out of it. Because we are all under the spell of the whole humanity who is just spilling blood, nothing else. That's why Christ, as a Son of God, as an incarnated God, came to help, to give us the way how to get out of this spell and to free ourselves, so that my child is not going to be junkie, whatever, criminal, crazy person, something like this. So that's why we should be actively into the Christian way of life in order to be freed from these spells from past that we are all carrying on our shoulders, unfortunately.
Thank you. Toto.